Welcome to the Nations Cup! The qualifier for Europe continues and we are in the top 8, everybody! This is the first round, so we have a full round robin, so all of these 8 teams will play against each other in best of 5 matches. So we already passed the first group stage phase, now we're going into the final phase where we're going to determine the top 4 teams in Europe that will then make it to the offline event in Berlin. And in case that you've been living under a rock and you really don't know anything about this, then just a quick note, we have an offline event coming up in Berlin with 6 teams, 4 European, 1 North American and 1 Asian team. All of this is taking place on the 10th and 11th of June, and you're more than welcome to stop by. It takes place in Berlin at the Experian. A super awesome venue, and it makes me really happy that more and more people are actually letting me know either in Discord or in Twitch or wherever that they're coming as well, that they booked their flights. So there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of Heroes of the Storm fans coming together, just enjoying the matches. Entrance is free, so you don't have to pay anything. If you are in Berlin, if you want to maybe combine this with a bit of a city trip, you're more than welcome. So make sure that you check it out. There's links in the description if you're watching this on YouTube right now that not only gives you information about the event itself, but also you can take a look at the Experian. Super cool venue partner. They had a lot of esports event there already, and you can look at some pictures and get a bit of an idea of what that looks like. But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to it. And of course, here now we got Germany against Ukraine. So this is our first game in the first round of this group stage. And right now, the Germans with bans on Horga and Nubarak as we're heading into Battlefield of Eternity as our first map. Now keep in mind, this is actually a best of 5. We had in the first group stage a lot of best of 3s, and as I already explained there, obviously skill gaps between the teams within the groups was pretty big in most cases, simply because we seeded the teams properly. You don't want your best teams to end up in one group in the first group stage and then eliminate each other. So now we're gonna get a lot closer matches, or at least that's what we can expect here. That being said, looking at this one in particular, I still think that the Germans have a pretty big leg up. Let's not mince words here. It would be a bit of disastrous for the Germans if they didn't make it to the event in Berlin. They are one of the favorites to reach the top 4. There's obviously France as well, just to name one other. The Swedes, insanely strong too. And we'll see if Germany can justify that position that they have as a favorite within the tournament. Ukraine coming into this best of 5 as a bit of an underdog, but especially the battle for the 4th slot that makes it to the offline event should be pretty intense, always assuming that the favorites can justify that position and all the hype around them, because we've seen upsets in the past. We could see it again here. Now, as we're heading into game number 1, we got Dehaka and we got Diablo here in Battlefield. So with Genji played by Dino, the question is of course on the support side if Anduin is going to be taken, or if maybe they're banning him out, and well, yep, that's exactly what they do. Get rid of that light bomb so that Dino can't completely destroy the backline there. Leo banned, and that leaves us with the next double pick for the Ukrainian players over here. Also, talking about the teams, a little bit of a side note, you might have already heard about it since we had a last chance qualifier. The team from Russia could not make it to the offline event. They double checked during the first group stage if they could all get visas, and it turns out that some of their players weren't able to get a visa because of military service problems and other things, and they decided as a team that they would withdraw. They've been totally open with us right from the beginning, so even before the first group stage started, and therefore they withdrew. We had a last chance qualifier and Denmark took their spot. So Denmark, out of all of the 3rd placed teams in those 4 groups, performed the best, won the last chance qualifier, and is now in the top 8 and has an opportunity here to make it to Berlin. Just a bit of a side note in case you missed that. Graham is in the house, and Darkmog, look at that, the former HTC player with Jimmy. We're getting Jimmy on Battlefield again, and Rega together with him. So Genji and Jimmy as a duo, whereas Greymane and Sylvanas are being fielded by Ukraine to try to not only take the Immortals down, but also take some of the structures down pretty quickly together with them. If they win some Immortals, those two can shred things pretty heavily. Last pick for the red team, we got Denardo, and he goes for Murden. The dwarf is in the house, and we are ready for game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity between Ukraine and Germany. Game number 1, Germany against Ukraine on Battlefield of Eternity with Death Knight on the left for the Germans with Rega. We got Hazops on the Haka, Dino and Genji, Nick is playing Diablo and Darkmorg on Jimmy. Towards the right side of the map we have the Ukrainians currently with Greymane played by Icecorp. In addition to that we get Denardo on Murden, we have No Game No Life on Sylvanas, Blu-ray on Brightwing, and as you can see Arabano is currently playing Urel. So let's get the show on the road and see what the Germans can do here. Can the Ukrainians fight back? Can they get those Immortals and use Sylvanas and Greymane to take some structures down and apply additional pressure here? Or how is this going to pan out? Obviously, we have a couple of like role swaps. If you're looking at the blue team, Darkmorg coming in necessitates that to an extent as well. It's actually really cool for me personally to see Darkmorg here, and I've already been talking about this a bit in the first group stage. But just seeing some of the former HTC players show up again is awesome. Crosby, another example for the Danish team. So really fun with that. Oh, Greymane! Oh, that was close, bro. Yeah, he makes it out with 16 hit points or something along those lines, but he was able to escape, so good on him. But definitely a bit of a close call there. And another engaged by Diablo as he dives in deep on the minion and tries to get his hands onto the red team. And of course on the side of Jimmy we have Exterminator as the level 1 talent. Also, while we're still at the beginning of the game, another quick reminder guys, if you want to support events like this, offline events in Heroes of the Storm with international participation, then please check out the link in the description. There is a crowdfunding going on for this event to make sure that we can host more events like this in the future, and also to make sure that we can increase the production level on this event in particular. We already had some offline events last year in Miami. We're planning to do more, but since Blizzard has pretty much abandoned Heroes of the Storm, we're really dependent on community support for all of those plans. A huge chunk of the money used for all of this comes from private sponsors, but this is obviously not going to be enough to just keep all of this alive in the long run. So if you are looking to support this a bit, then just check out the link in the description for the crowdfunding and help out if you can. First kill, so the first thing that happens is that Trashwing is down. Brightwing eliminated, and down bot side, oh, another play, another stun, and another hit. And before Brightwing has any chance to make a play here and save Muradin, Budget Gimli goes down. So he's eliminated. And that is the second kill for the Germans as they are trying to fight for the next camp. Hazops is now at the top, and even Genji is stopping by. So they have a good shot at getting both of the mercenary camps, or at least denying it to the opponent. But the Ukrainians, they're trying to repay the Germans down at the bottom of the map with a bit of additional aggression. Nick is low and makes it. Brightwing, on the other hand, didn't, so she's dead again. And now they're turning it on Icecorp. Greymane went a little bit too deep in his attempt to take Diablo down and paid the ultimate price. Of course, some structural damage has still been done by the red team. They've actually done a pretty good job here. And this is what I highlighted earlier during the draft, that Greymane and Sylvanas can do. If you get the two of them onto one of the major structures, they can absolutely murder it. Now, we got the thick skin here on level 4. Sylvanas went for the possession herself. And the halftime show already in the hands of the blue team, able to get to the 50% pretty quickly here. With 4 kills to 0 and also leading experience, obviously not all that tricky for them. And they're still applying pressure. So the Ukrainians are trying their best. Stun evaded from Diablo, who was nearly stunned into an Immortal stun, which is of course always the nightmare. The huge CC train, just a bit too much. And it seems like some of the Ukrainian players are already moving over to their opponent's Immortal, trying to equalize the situation a little bit. But things are definitely tricky. Dehaka is sneaking over towards Sylvanas, and he's not the only one over here. Nope. No game, no life, trying to get out. Genji follows, and that's another kill for the blue team. They're coming in on the Immortal once again, as Denardo and his boys are at least trying to punish them. Good Stormbolt on Diablo. ruining the follow-up from Nick, but it seems like this is going to be a pretty big objective for the German team. Especially, of course, if they can get a few more kills in. And Greymane gets out again. He's really cutting it close today. It's the second time that he gets out with barely any hit points left. Rabano also jumping away here. But the situation is pretty much still the same. 5 kills to 0. The Germans now with the lead in talents and experience in general. So they are hoping for the top fort. And this is going to be a pretty brutal attack, I would expect, since they are trying to build all of that momentum here. Darkmog on the other side. Okay, there it is. Goes for the unstable compound. I was just about to say that he's a little bit slow on the take on his level 7 talent. Can they take the fort down? Well, with Hazu moving in, they definitely can. So he uses his global to go into the back. Tries to connect the drag, but not quite happening for him. They're still zoning the opponent's team away from the fort, and that will, of course, end with the main structure here being destroyed. The fort is down. Nicely done. Fantastic start into the second group stage for the Germans. Again, this is going to be a full round robin with 8 teams, and we're going to have tons and tons of content and pretty cool matches here. And we should very quickly also... this is pretty much a mini HGC that we're playing out at this point. And of course, in addition to that, we're also going to have a bit of an idea of who is able to set themselves apart from the rest. Currently, some of the big favorites include France, Germany and Sweden. But upsets could happen, and there's always a 4th spot to be played out as well. 1 level ahead for Germany. And at this point, Ukraine obviously trying to get to level 10 as quickly as they can too. That's of course one of the bigger questions here. Can they hit level 10 by the time the next objective comes along? Because if they don't, then it's a freebie on the halftime show for the German team, and they would absolutely love to get that. Diablo nearly fully stacked now as well, so he has his souls together in just another second. Urel already double checking down here at the bottom. Nick is pushing his way back out. Nobody following up on it. And that's a full stack for Diablo as Hazu controls the top lane. Full 5-man for Ukraine down at the bottom of the map. But the Haka up at the top doing his thing, getting the team closer and closer to level 10. Was thinking about tunneling in, but then decided to go for another minion wave, which is going to give them the heroic abilities just as the Immortal comes into play again. And of course now, when you're looking at experience, you can already tell that the Ukrainian team is not going to be able to go to 10 in time. They are going to lose the halftime show here. It's just going to happen. The halftime show is going to go to the German team, barring any insane developments like somebody totally inting. Hazobs is checking. They're also trying to protect the camp over here while they take their own. So they deny it to the Ukrainian team, applying even more pressure. And now it's time for Jimmy to do his thing up here towards the top. Now the red team was able to get a little bit closer to level 10 than I expected them in that short time that was still available to them, but it doesn't change the outcome. We still have a 50% for the German team. Camp is taken. We got level 10, so now it's time to fight. This is the moment where they could try and turn it around. And let's not forget that there's a lot of momentum if they're ever able to get one of the Immortals. Good drag on. Oh my god. No! Arrows! Apocalypse! Everything is fired out here. But Leonardo survives and pops Avatar. So now they're trying to turn it. There is definitely some momentum in the cards for the Ukrainian team if they're able to get an Immortal and win a team fight with Sylvanas and Greyname. You can absolutely crush an entire lane if you get the objective, but things are tricky for them. There's no denying that. I mean, obviously right now there's another attack coming in as Nick is making the move with Diablo. Tries to also isolate the front line a little bit. Needs the Ancestral from Rhaegar as he's immediately being focused. X-Strike in. Nice damage from Genji. Dino with another opportunity here. They're still trying to get position around the opponent's Immortal. And of course there is also still that top camp that they somehow got to deal with. But thankfully for them, the towers have already taken down the Shaman. So not going to lose too much here. Sylvanas pushing down to the bottom of the map a bit and trying to apply pressure on the fort itself. The Immortal is taken at the same time. So they're splitting their attention a bit in an attempt to at least get some value. Sylvanas is the fort low, but they want the kill. They need a kill. And they might get it. And there it is. The Stormbolt connects. And that is the end of Reyna. But Rhaegar dies and so does Greymane. Interesting developments over here. So 2 heroes down on the blue team side, and that might just be what the Ukrainian team needs to defend this Immortal. Greymane gone. Bit of a setback for them when it comes to the... no! Genji! What are you doing? Dino gets caught and killed. The red team fighting back tooth and nail in an attempt to salvage what's there to salvage. So they have their 3 kills. The Germans are still a bit ahead and will lock in a level 13 talent now, but with Greymane back to business, obviously it means that he can chip in on the Immortal defense, and they are saving the bottom fort. So generally speaking, wasn't really too bad for the red team considering the situation they found themselves in. This is pretty big. So that was a really nice approach by Sylvanas, making sure to apply pressure at the bot lane as they realize they're going to lose the Immortal 100%, so they try to make the best out of a bad situation. And they did. 26,000 damage for Sylvanas now. We got 22,000 damage for Genji. Top side, yeah, Hazu is still there. Still playing the waiting game. He obviously can jump back down if need be, but now it is 13 to 13, and it seems like they're going to try and make a play here. Or not. Nope. Denardo and Murden just sitting at the side, securing the flank, making sure that they have a bit of a look what's going on there. Top side, still Urel against Dehaka. And Hazu has been playing this really well. Obviously a veteran. The guy has been playing has been in esports ever since he's 16. So absolutely insane his entire life pretty much. And he has the patience, he has the experience, and he is applying pressure at the top lane with his global. On the macro side, he is just absolutely incredible. And that's a huge problem for the red team to deal with right now, and especially for Urel, of course. The continuous pressure that we're seeing from Hazu here, definitely a problem. Narabano down to 50% HP, is losing the wall, as you can see already. And now even Nick is moving in. The rest of the team making a play for their Shaman camp, trying to play a bit more pressure at the bottom of the map, which could actually result in the fort being destroyed, as the Immortal is coming back down in another 7 seconds. And look at this. Still, I mean, obviously the catapult is, the driver is totally drunk out of his mind, as you can see. But the camp at least is going to do some damage here. Genji is pushing the bot lane out. So they're doing this really well. Ukraine has immediately taken the defensive stance around their own Immortal, and the blue team realized that and used then Dehaka to push the top lane out, and Dino at the bottom with Genji to push at the bottom of the map. So this is actually big. Keep top side's going to take damage. Here comes the engage and the annihilation of Greymane. Greymane down, another hit incoming. Dino already in the back, taking another fort down. Top keep is taking damage, as we talked about a second ago. And while Darkmork is making a move for the Immortal, the rest of the team is fighting. And also keeping the Ukrainian players busy so that the top lane can get a bit more pressure going on that keep. 16 is super close too, and it will give them additional talent. Halftime show nearly won. This time the Ukrainians were able to do a little bit more damage on the Immortal itself, but it's getting spicy here. So yeah, this one is already a bit low. Now the minion wave, at least to an extent, defending the top lane. But there's a level 16, so yeah, with 16 in their hands, it's gonna be rough. Halftime show was won by the Germans once again. And well, here they go again. Coming in with more damage, trying to take another Immortal. Rega getting caught though, and absolutely destroyed here. So bye Doggy. Rega is down, and that is exactly what the red team needed. They have the 5-man following up at the bottom of the map in an attempt to get another kill. But in the meantime, Dino has realized that he can do additional damage on the Immortal, and they did a lot of that. So this bad boy is super low, and it's going to be tricky to defend it properly. They're already nibbling around the edges, and we still have the same situation up at the top, where one catapult after another is now coming in, and eventually this keep is going to take more and more damage, which is going to make a huge difference if they're able to claim it. Oh, that also! Greymane a bit too greedy here. The Immortal already taken. They got the Greymane kill. Now they're coming in for no game, no life, and take Sylvanas down too. That's 2 heroes gone for the defense. The Immortal, of course, going to focus down to the bottom of the map, where we find the German team immediately in position to try and take down the wall. We also, the Germans are very good at taking down walls, by the way, just in case this wasn't clear. But we nearly have level 16 for the red team, but in the fight, of course, they were still trailing a talent. That's a huge problem. So this is going to be very, very dicey. 34,000 damage for Genji, 47,000 damage for Sylvanas, but just look at how quickly they're going through this keep here. The Germans going through that keep like hot butter through cheese as they're trying to go for the core. Death Knight saved by the Ancestral. Nicely done. And of course, at this point, they're still trying to break through the shield and go for the core. Harzov is a bit low, but can they kill him? That's the big question. He turns it around with the drag. Should fall eventually, but he's still alive somehow. The core is already down to 50%. Dino is going straight up for the objective, showing all that German efficiency, not participating in the team fight anymore, and they lock it in the lead in the best of 5 series. Germany taking the 1-0 over Ukraine. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. To the Spider Queen, map number 2, everybody. The Germans are in the lead. Now, the same rule applies that already applied in the first group stage. A hero that has been played cannot be played again. So the 10 heroes that you saw on the previous map are now off the table, cannot be played anymore. It's a little bit of a tip to the hat thing to the meta madness. We obviously are not trying to get the teams to continuously bust out their Cho'Galls and Yaslos here, but it makes it a bit more interesting for the viewers, also for the players, and it's a small compromise that we have there to just make the tournament a little bit different, and it's going to be pretty nice. So yeah, a little bit of a difference when it comes to the drafting, but still keeping it competitive here. Now, this is a best of 5 series, I already mentioned before. The Germans, they're definitely the favorites here. They also want to make a statement. And one thing that I also have to highlight is every single map matters. Super important, because you need to make sure that you're not only looking good on your match score, but if at any point in match score there is a tie, map score becomes incredibly important very quickly. So it is quite fundamental that you're trying to win every single map and not just the series itself. That's especially important if you are thinking about some teams like the French team, where you have a couple of players that some people would describe as trolls, maybe. So yeah, some of the French players are particularly known that occasionally in game number 2 or 3, when they're already ahead in the series, they like to pick picks that they normally wouldn't and make things a little bit more fun for themselves, and it is also known to backfire on them every now and then. And yeah, here they should probably not do that, because if you lose a map or two because you pull one of those moves, then it could come back to bite you at the end of the full round robin and you fall down 1 or 2 spots. And obviously ranking is really important here, not only because you want to qualify for Berlin, but also because at the same time you are trying to get a good seed so that you have an easier bracket when we're then heading into the actual playoffs and finals. Now we got Jojo and we got Leoric on Tomb of the Spider Queen, so there's tons of wave clear already. I mean, they're coming in with Vala, we have Jojo, we have Leoric. That is a crazy amount of wave clear for your first 3 picks. Blaze, of course, always a good pick on the Ukrainian side. We now have Hanzo in play as well. And I like what the Germans have. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hanzo and Blaze, always a good combo to start your draft off with, especially on Tomb of the Spider Queen. You have a lot of interrupt potential, you have a lot of scouting tools, Blaze is great on the bot lane. But yeah, it could get nasty very quickly. Personally, I'm curious what Darkmok is going to play. I mean, Darkmok obviously now playing a lot more Heroes of the Storm since he participates in this tournament. They've also had him play in Heroes Lounge with them. So this makes him a lot more, I mean, practiced than before. But at the same time, I would still assume that he's going to default to some of the heroes that he's played in the past that he's just more familiar with. Now we got Varian in, we got Chromie too, so already a chance to go for Varian Taunt for Blaze, follow up with an additional stun, and then Chromie can just blast the crap out of them from the backline with another Dragon's Breath and a couple of Sand Blasts, so you can really blow a target to pieces within seconds. Follow-up could be Stukov as a support. Well, no, not anymore. Stukov and Uther, both taken away. Those would have been good options. I think that leaves them with Malfurion or Deckard Cain as a follow-up. But it's kind of funny that they actually claimed both of them. So now we have a double support, which probably leads us to Dino playing an auto-attack style instead of a multi-shot build that I expected when Vala was picked. So, yeah, a lot of defense for Vala, and that would allow Dino a lot more room to work with and get those auto-attack stacks. Here comes Deckard Cain. Malfurion was the other option, and, well, that's Tomb of the Spider Queen, everybody. So let's jump in. Map number 2 between Ukraine and Germany. The second game of the series, the German team on the left with Death Knight on Stukov, Hazorps on Leoric, Dino playing Vala, still going for a multi-shot build, by the way, despite the fact that he has a double support behind him and is the hyper carry for the team. We have Nick on Johanna and Dark Mog on Uther. To the right side of the map, Ukrainian players with Icecorp on Hanzo, we got Denado on Varian, Blu-ray on Deckard Cain, Arabano on Blaze, and No Game, No Life on Chromie. Now, the interesting part is really the multi-shot build. Now, obviously, you can also do an enormous amount of damage with a proper multi-shot build, given the fact that this is a map where wave clear really reigns supreme. It is not really a surprise. The only context in which it is something where we could have seen a different build is really that double support that they're playing here, and that Vala is the only damage dealer. But we've seen from players like Nick and others in the past how much damage they can actually get out with a proper multi-shot build. Especially if you have somebody like Jojo that can group people up a bit for them. So let's see how much Dino can do here. Obviously, with a double support behind him, he can be a lot more aggressive with his movements and can really go for it and try to position himself aggressively around the opponent's team to try and get those additional stacks in here. So we'll see if he is going to be able to get all of the damage out. On the other side, there is Varian who's going to try and take Vala down whenever there's an opportunity. We even have Austin's Renewal, by the way, for Leoric, which first and foremost allows him to have more sustain at the bottom of the map, but also takes a little bit of additional pressure off the healers themselves. Now, camps taken very quickly here by Germany, whereas Ukraine is only moving Chromie over just yet. The rest of the team probably going to follow up on that soon. Bot lane, Hazu doing already damage on the structures, ghosting around with Leoric here, having a really nice start into the game on lane at least. Whereas Nick has started to rotate between the top and the middle, getting the gems together for the team and also using the wave clear with Jojo. And I talked about this during the draft, but the amount of wave clear that they have is nasty. I mean, look at that lineup. So yes, their two supports might not have the most wave clear, but outside of that, just the 3 heroes that they drafted at the beginning, they can burn these minion waves down within seconds. So all that German efficiency is coming in once again. Yeah, there's the Jane on Denardo, and Varian is in a bit of trouble. Gets body block 2, makes it out, gets sucked back in by the condemn of Johanna, and nearly costs him his life. Now Blaze is moving in too, and the Ukrainian team with a really nice controlled attack against Darkmog, which might even cost Uther his life. He makes it out, Blaze doesn't, and that is a kill number 1 in this game. Varian obviously with the taunt now also ready. In addition to that, we got the Incinerator Gauntlet for Blaze. Yeah, and Vala is stacking. Vala currently sitting at 11 stacks and following this up with Arsenal, as you would expect. A little bit more action in the middle of the map, and that leads to the gnome being taken down as well. So a little garden gnome over here. The fake dragon has been eliminated. Chromie is deaded. 2 kills to 0. Starting off strong, good stacks also from Dino once again, sitting at 13 right now. The team starting to turn in, and especially Nick with the 20 gems that he's been holding is securing everything that he gathered. So that's 32 in the hands of the German team. Ukrainians down here, still pushing this out against Hazu, who has to deal with that wall. Stalled the lane out a bit too. Oh, Darkmog! Yeah, that's not really looking too good for Uther now, does it? So Darkmog goes down, the first kill for the red team. Nicely done, well executed, and as we say in Germany, dumm gelaufen. Darkmog walking right into that little trap that they set for them here. So Now Nick at the top side, still dealing with Chromie. Vala always looking for another stack and finds another one also against Chromie. Falls into the trap too. Gets taunted, and can they save Dino? Yes, they can. And that's gonna be a problem for Denardo potentially. Another vault forward by Vala. Again, can be aggressive because of the double support. Big damage. And there's the kill. Darkmorg, look at him. Yeah, you know that's an assassin player. Assassin Uther is in the house. Comes in and puts the final touches on the kill that they facilitated there. 3 kills to 1, and also a turn opportunity for both of the teams. The Ukrainian team has not turned in a single gem just yet, but they got enough to get their first web weaver wave. So now it becomes a question of which team is going to be faster here. Haze with another nice dodge, gets another drain connected, and Arabano is in trouble, but Uther gets slowed and cannot connect the stun. Here comes Jojo though, and that is going to spell out the end for Blaze. He dies, and that is kill number 4 for the Germans. That's up at the top. We now got Death Knight doing his thing. Down here at the bottom of the map, obviously. Turn opportunity. Nick is immediately following up on this. And he's gonna have the team at 47 gems. But 35 for the Ukrainian team, so they're delivering too. Vala gets interrupted. Dino trying. Sits at 19 stacks, so nearly done with the quest reward. Obviously gonna attempt to properly stack past that. But yeah, I'm still waiting for that multi-shot, and there it is. Sitting at 21, gets good damage out over here. Oh, and Hanzo! Hanzo gets murdered, so he's down. Another drain on Denardo, and the red team has to retreat. And oh, that's a problem for Blaze. Yeah, this combo honestly is really nasty, especially when we have Stukov completely free to drop a lurking arm, and Uther can still heal the teammates up. Then any kind of retreat throughout the lurking arm area is immediately a death zone. So they get the web weavers, and just look at the experience. Level 10, perfectly timed around that push. Nicely done. Okay, absolutely on schedule. Would love to say like a German train, but then again, we all know the Deutsche Bahn. Thank you for traveling with the Deutsche Bahn. So, yeah. Then again, I was just recently in Slovakia, and I realized that maybe I shouldn't complain about the German trains all that much, because it's not like the ones in Slovakia are any better. If anything, they were worse. But yeah, 5 kills to 1, level 10 is in, and they're exploiting this right away. Web Weavers in the middle and the bot lane are pushing. Jojo goes down. Nick sacrificing himself. Yeah, another taunt and maybe another kill. Dino's still trying to get out here at 25 stacks currently. But they got one. Meme Strike is in. A little bit more damage at the mid fort. Can they take the entire thing? Maybe they can. These bad boys, they hurt. Yes, they slap. And that is it. Goodbye, fort number 2. So an incredibly successful first objective. 2 forts down. And the third one already damaged as well. So, yeah, there we go. On the left side, we still got the Germans with another camp. They're pretty diligent, actually, around the mercenary camps, and I really like it. So, time and time again, we see them come in here, swinging. Big turn in now as well, closing in on Web Weaver Wave number 2. In regards to raw damage, we have Vala at 17,000, but look at Hazu. He's sitting at 20k. He's been draining the shit out of Blaze throughout the entire game here. 17,000 for Chromie. Yeah, and there it is. Bunker as a direct response to Leo coming through with his Entomb. The red team, though, using all of the time that the Germans just used at the bottom of the map to try and get that kill, to turn in and get the first web weavers for themselves. So now we have that set up. Nicely done. And off we go. With that, we have an opportunity for the Ukrainian team to bring this back, especially since they also have this camp in the middle. So they have the camp pushing. Oh, a nice hit by Deckard Kane. Yeah, there's the meme strike, maybe a little bit too late. Zones them out. Divine Shield had to be used on the other hand. Blessed Shield. And that's the end of Hanzo. Hanzo goes down as Jojo goes full Captain America on him and throws that shield fully in his face. Leo a bit low down here. He might actually be in trouble. Gets healed, but it's not enough. So that's the end of Hazo Ops. Trade activated by Leoric. They were able to take down the Web Weavers in the mid lane, though. Down at the bottom of the map, that's a very different story, because there's currently nobody here even trying to defend. So this is easily going to be a ruthless destruction of the bottom fort. Not quite able to do as much damage as the German did earlier, but they are getting close. So, yeah, there's that. But alright, top side, that's where we now have Johanna still defending the top lane fort. Nick doing a great job in the tank position. I mean, it's not the first time that he plays that role, but still, usually we see him more on the damage, more on that assassin role, trying to go for his Kerrigan, for example, on Tomb. But 25,000 damage for Leoric. Vana's still trading. I mean, in siege damage, obviously, Dino is crushing it currently. But when it comes to the raw damage against hero, it is Hazorps, with one drain after another, taking the top spot. Another nice hit from Vala, though, and she's going to catch up eventually, especially, of course, since the stacking is going to become more and more of a problem for the red team. Ukrainians with real issues now. Varian, can he get away? Yes, he can. He's able to get out, so he's still alive. The problem is that Hanzo is dead again. That's the third time that he has fallen. 25,000 damage for him. Web Weavers again on the move for the blue team. And Denardo is pausing the game. Yeah, they were slapped around quite a bit here. So I'm not sure if somebody dropped or if they just have some problems with maybe Discord, maybe with voice. They still have level 13 talents, so defending here is not going to be all that easy as Hanzo is still dead. Web Weavers, again, just now coming in. The bottom fort, they have to forfeit this one. Nothing's going to happen there. It's just minion waves down here. Nobody's going to move in for that. It's going to be a push for the walls, at least, on those keeps. That's what the Germans are going to try and do. We have 32 stacks for Vala, so she's really being able to get the damage out right now with that increased damage that we're getting with every single stack that she's able to accumulate here. Denardo is a little bit low on Varian. That makes it pretty tricky for them, so they have to get him back to the Nexus, try and replenish that hit point pool so that he can properly engage in the team fight once again. There's no chance of the Germans to get to level 16 in time for all of this, so there's that. We have, by the way, the virulent reaction here for Stukov. There's even more control. You now have the Condemn from Johanna. You have his root. Then you have Uther's stun. Leo with the slow. And we've already seen that in action. They have most of their ults available, but we're still waiting for Blessed Shield to come up and also for Entomb. So it's still a bit of a grace period where the Ukrainian team can play it a little bit fast and loose. But the problem is they themselves also don't really have any ults. So in the last team fight, pretty much everybody fired off the R button. And now instead what we're seeing is them in a 4 versus 5, 1 level behind, 4 kills behind, and they have to defend those keeps now. And this is where the German team is going to try to at least open up those walls to make those keeps more vulnerable for later pushes. But in an ideal world, they would of course hope to damage the keeps themselves as well. So let's see. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised that Leo is even staying at the bot lane. Mainly because of the catapult, I suppose. But yeah, this fort is going to fall. This thing is going to be forfeit one way or another. It's the top lane that's going to be super interesting now. Depends a little bit what happens here in the middle, though, because the Ukrainian team is going for the aggression. They have their 5 versus 5 back up again. Ults are coming in. That could be the meme strike right here. Icecorp looks for the angle, and they take down Jojo. And big meme strike. Big meme strike and the end of Stukov. That was huge. What's also huge, though, is them taking out the top keep. Yeah, that's problematic. But let's take another look at this. We don't get that many meme strike kills, but just look how they line this up. First, Jojo goes down, and then just perfectly slowed, and they take Stukov apart. He has no chance. Tries to walk his way back out of the death zone, and it was obviously a little too late. The Mind Shield wasn't available anymore. So 2 kills for the Ukrainian team. 1 level behind still. Another turn in from Hazu. So yeah, he's delivering gem after gem. 36 stacks now for Vala, who also has Manticore. And they're doing really well here. 1 keep down, 1 damaged. Bot lane opened up a little bit. And at the same time, the blue team is still holding on to 2 of their forts. So what pretty much has to happen for the Ukrainian team to have a chance here is them turning in their gems, get level 16, and their next push has to pack a punch. No! like this. Oh boy, oh that hurt. The death zone. Walking through the corridor, they got absolutely wrecked, and now that's 28 gems lost right there. Wow, that was brutal. That definitely hurt, and it hurt them a lot. Now they go for Deckard Cain, and of course, it's 4 heroes down. Keep core, the world's their oyster. The German team is going for it. They are going for gold. 34,000 for Vala. Now she's top damage in the game. But yep, here we are. Looks like a clean 2-0 for Germany after 2 games. Leoric dies again, but so does the core. It's down to 50%. The defense is happening, but it's just not going to be enough. This is going to be the big lead for the Germans. They take a 2-0 in the best of 5 against Ukraine as we are headed for game number 3. Game number 3, Infernal Shrines, the Germans taking a 2-0 lead over the Ukrainians as we're heading into the 3rd map. Potentially the final one. Again, these are best of 5, so now 20 heroes cannot be played again because they've already been played. So things start to become a little bit more interesting, but again without any pre-bans as we have Meta Madness. There's still plenty to choose from. Some people were at some point already talking about like, hey, what if they ban out a complete role? Pretty impossible, honestly. If you don't have pre-bans like we do in Meta Madness, that's usually not happening. Since we have 90 heroes pretty much in the game right now, so yeah. But okay, we get the bans on Anubarak and on Hogger. Tracer's also eliminated again. Infernal Shrines, obviously another map where wave clear is going to be pretty big because you can use it not only on the lane against the minion waves, but it also becomes an issue when you're fighting for the objective itself and you're trying to take down those minions. That's why oftentimes we have a Vala as an option here too. There's a lot of assassins still around here. Junkrat banned, good ban there too. I personally would expect that Maiev is also going to get some love on this map. That's at least what I would think we're going to see here. Darkmog with Atanis. Okay, let's go. Tennis on game number 3 and taken by Darkmog immediately. As I said before, Darkmog is going to be a bit of an X factor in some of the picks that he's going to choose. Could always swap that around too. But I'm very curious what the Ukrainians are now going to do. They actually had a shot coming back on map number 2 and then they just funneled into that corridor 10 seconds before they were hitting level 16 and lost 2 heroes instantly and then just way too many gems. And that of course spelled out the end of the game. We got Malthael, we got Mephisto. And what's it going to be for Germany? Tychus is still up, another good pick for the map of course. Well, they're going down the StarCraft route, but they're not quite going for Tychus just yet. We get Sergeant Hammer instead. So Sergeant Hammer and Atanis together with Tyrael now. Keep in mind that Nick has actually been playing in an Assassin Tyrael for a long time, where he went into Judgment. Now, he is not quite in the same position this time, because he's actually playing the main tank for the team. But this being Nick, there's still a chance that he all of a sudden busts out Judgment. Do I personally think that's very likely? No. But it's always a possibility. I think, given the map, given the composition that they've drafted this far, it's highly likely that we're going to get Sanctification. But it's Nick, so there's that. The Germans with the Panzer. It's always tricky. If history taught us one thing, then it's don't give the Germans too many tanks. Doesn't really go well. So, yeah, there they are again with Sergeant Hammer. And they have 2 players, the only one that they're actually missing right now in order to have the 3 players that probably played Sergeant Hammer the most in the last couple of years would be Ultralisk. You have Nick, you have Hazu, and then Ultralisk would be there as well. So, yeah, would be kind of interesting. But off we go. We have the double pick on the Ukrainian side. They already have Malthael, they got Mephisto, so damage is more or less locked in. We need a tank, we need support. Ana has been banned out, so both teams have been targeting some of the supports. We get Mei, so they're dipping a little bit into the Overwatch pool with Malfurion as a follow-up. Not really a surprise there. I personally expected him already on the last map. and highlighted him as an option to be comboed off together with Varian, which we didn't get, but therefore no shock that he's appearing on the third map. Well, for the blue team, what are we getting? We got Dino and Death Knight. So we need a support. A little bit more. Kerrigan! Okay, maybe some role swapping. And Morales. They pretty much went full StarCraft with the exception of Tyrael. I mean, that's an F by Nick. They could have chosen something else. They could have chosen anything else at that front line, but no, no, no. They went for Tyrael instead. So yeah, we get nearly a full StarCraft team. Nearly themed, not quite there. But that leaves us with the last pick for game number 3. Ukraine with Ragnaros. Alright, let's go, boys. Ready for this one. Ragnaros, the final pick for the third game. Let's go. We're headed straight for Infernal Shrines. Game number 3, match point for Germany. On the left, we have Hazops on Sergeant Hammer, Death Knight on Morales, Dino on Artanis, Nick on Tyrael, and Dartmorg. He swapped over to Kerrigan, one of his go-tos of the past, of course. Ukraine with Ice Gob and Malthael, Arabano on Ragnaros, we get Denado on May, Blu-ray on Malfurion, and no game, no life on Mephisto. Now keep in mind, this is all for the ranking. Every single map matters, even if you lose the series. If you can at least win a map or two, that helps you a lot in the long run. Full round robin with the 8 remaining teams in the European qualifier. We have on level 1 already the life support. Yeah, it's a bit of an homage to the situation that Heroes is currently in. So whoever named the Morales talents was already predicting the future here. It was just like, just waited a couple of years, guys, and Heroes of the Storm is going to be on full life support. And you know what? The man wasn't wrong. So, yep, there it is. Life support for Morales and for Heroes of the Storm. We have some aggression at the top. One of the towers nearly destroyed. Level 1 also gives us the Ardent Restoration for Tyrael. Again, talents are going to be interesting for Nick. He is the main tank, but still. And off we go. Kill number 1. Malfurion says bye-bye. We get also the meatball build on Ragnaros. This is not the Swedish team, but they're still going full meatball. And we got the heat transfer on the first level. To the top right though, it's still the StarCraft story. We have Death Knight and Hazops, and now Dino's coming in too, and all of a sudden it's Arabano who's in trouble. Ragnaros turns into Ragnaros. So yeah, he gets wrecked hard. And well, sending in more more heroes to be attacked. First of all, Malfurion is already hating his life here. He's like, leave me alone! As Artanis is right on his ass. In addition to that, by the way, we now have not a single stack yet for Mephisto, who's now coming in, gets swapped and attacked right away. Nick's at a low with Tyrael, one of the better Tyrael skins, by the way, right here. And Kerrigan is rotating between the bot and the mid lanes, so they shifted things off a little bit. And you might have noticed that Nick is actually going into a full Assassin Tyrael build here. He went into the Divine Vigor and the Ardent Restoration, which is exactly the build that he uses when he's playing Tyrael in the side lane too. Malthael, on the other hand, gets a solo kill against Kerrigan, so Dartmorg is gone. And we get Shandow's Clarity over here once again. Which actually reminds me, every single time that I read Shandow's Clarity, I have to think of alcohol, because that just sounds like it's a spirit or something. That definitely sounds like it's some kind of alcohol. Some people were suggesting that it's maybe a wheat brand, but yeah, given Malfurion, I can see why you would think that, but to me that sounds way more like it's a liquor or something. But I am now remembering that actually, once that my bike races of the year are done, I wanted to get myself one of those rum bottles that they have with some special flavors, and I still gotta do that. Still gotta reward myself there towards the end of the year a little bit. So yeah, need to check that out. Either way, now that we're looking at the level 4 talents, we get the Fire Ward, Meatball build continues, and in the case of Sergeant Hammer, we got the Siege Tactics over here. Alright, down to the bottom of the map, Kerrigan getting chased. Has to be a bit careful here against Ice Gorb. Dark Mok still getting some value, but somebody that is not so lucky is Ragnaros. Gets murdered as Sergeant Hammer is moving in. Same time now we have the rest of the red team trying to get a counter kill, but they're not quite able to control Nick properly. Stun train is not hitting too hard, and well, Hazo has demolished the top side pretty aggressively. The entire wall is gone. They're taking position with a level 7 talent advantage around the objective. Now we have Hava Siege mode, we have Purge Evil, and yeah, this is looking really, really good for the German team. Unless, of course, the Ukrainians are able to turn it around on the objective and lock in that first Punisher for themselves. We now have the Molten Power in. Kerrigan still down at the bottom of the map, but up here at the top the fight is already starting. And they're focusing again on Malfurion. It was a 4 versus 4 initially, but now we have Malthael in action too. Nick is able to get out here, also thanks to Death Knight, who was just healing him constantly with Morales. Having a bit of a pocket healer definitely helps them. Dark Mok comes in, flanks, and annihilates Malthael. Finds himself in trouble too, but is able to jump back down to Malthael and take him apart. So that's a double kill for the blue team. Hoping to also get Mei, and they should be able to pull that off. Darkmok is just hopping throughout the entire team and gets one kill after another with the help of his teammates. And now it's 7 kills to 1. Hazorps with even more pressure topside. Ukraine just lost 4. Now they're losing more hit points on the structures. As Ragnaros is just sitting there saying like, team? Hello? Anybody here? And well, the answer is no. Nobody's left. So they delay the objective a little bit, so that they not only get level 10, but also Tyrael is coming in. And he goes for it! He actually goes for it! We have Judgment! Judgment is in. Keep in mind that one of the things that happened during the draft is Ukraine banning out Anduin. Judgment with Light Bomb would have been another cool combo, but was denied to them. We now have Lava Wave. Frozen Punisher is claimed, and guys, this is obviously going to be brutal. I mean, just look at this. They have a level 10 advantage, is 1.5 levels in experience that they're ahead now. They have a Frozen Punisher, and the top fort is nearly gone. If they rotate the rest of the team towards the top side now, they might walk away with the keep here if they get a kill or two. This is an incredibly dangerous push set up by the German team. Full efficiency up here. First objective, and they're already in a great spot. But they're abandoning the top lane and instead are just trying to get value at the bottom and the mid lane. Not aiming for the keep, but instead just trying to take additional forts down, set themselves up for the mid game. Ragnaros died down at the bottom of the map. We now have Judgment as they're flanking in from the top. That's a free swap, and it is another kill. Malthael is gone. Mid lane gets attacked. The wall already destroyed, most of it at least, and down at the bottom of the map the party continues as we have Germany moving in again, not only against Mei but also the structures themselves. And of course, Camp in the back doing some serious damage. Morales healing everybody up. Denado doing his best to distract them, but even that seems to be an impossibility for them. A nice snowball with level 10, but I don't think there's a proper follow-up. Well, they have the follow-up, it's just the damage isn't there. Mephisto came in too late. It was a great snowball that they executed, and then the root from Malfurion, even the ult afterwards. If Mephisto would have been there a little bit sooner, they could have gotten the kill, but instead they're losing Ragnaros now. He went into Sulfuras, and what could have been the opportunity to turn things around a bit is now fully backlashing against Ukraine. They're losing way too much here. Mephisto's gonna fall. No game, no life. Really has no life left. 12 kills to 1. They completed the dozen. And now with level 13, they're brute forcing the bottom wall on their way to their keep. Look at this. Hazard. Hit after hit, even with Ragnaros popping his trade. Darkmok down. Finally a kill for the Ukrainians, but they already lost Malthael. He's still dead, and they're losing more and more by the second. Swap attempts over and over again. Hazu still alive, gets hit though by the ult from Mephisto. Trying to escape here. Death Knight low. Death Knight! And he makes it out! What? Death Knight is alive. May not gonna make it. Denado is gone. They take Malfurion down too. Another double kill for the Germans. 15 kills to 2. Hazu also survived. Morales finally falls at least, so they get that kill. But oh my god, what a slaughter! Another swap and another kill, and Dainu, he's still fighting, but he's running out of resources eventually, and there should be another kill. There it is. Malthael at least able to get some damage in for them. So job well done. 16-4. Now we have in the middle another attack happening as the Napalm also reveals the position of Mephisto, and he goes down again. That's kill number 17 for the Germans, and they just control the entire map now. The only fort that they haven't destroyed is the one in the middle, but of course they've taken a 2-level lead at this point, which is incredibly difficult to bridge for the Ukrainian team. And the objective is popping up in just a moment. Even in the middle of the map, it's not looking too good. Once the fort is gone here, I mean, there's no fountain left. There's no retreat spot left if this one falls as well. So the red team is defending it as best as they can. They can still claim Shrine now active. They are trying for position, but it's a bit tricky. Nick with a judgment, completely isolating them. Alright, so we have every ult they have on Artanis. They pop everything on him and they still can't kill Dainu. The root, Sulfura's, Durance of Hate, it was all there. Morales is the one that dies though, so does Malthael. Artanis, they just can't kill him. Dainu, the damage sponge. He soaks it all up, dies eventually, but he drew so many resources of the team here. Mephisto and Malthael, they're both eliminated. 19 kills to 6, 25 kills in total at the 10-minute mark, which is just nasty. And, well, that is also spelling the end of Tyrael. 26 stacks, though, for Germany on the objective, but they might lose this one now. This one they might actually lose. Not looking too great for them, considering that there's 4 heroes up for the red team. So the Ukrainians have not given up on the game yet. They're still fighting as best as they can. And, well, this might just be an opportunity for them to turn it. But then they lose Malfurion. And maybe even May. Malfurion died 4 times already. 5 deaths on Ragnaros. And that's the end of Malthael. Death after death after death. Another hit incoming. 21 kills to 7. And what a slaughter. May is down. The swap attempt by Dainu not quite working, but Kerrigan is hoping to get into range. Talking about hoping. Dartmok. Yeah, nearly died here. They were hoping to turn it on her and take her down. That didn't quite happen. So now they're moving for the bottom key. Azops is the only one that hasn't died yet, by the way. 0 deaths on him. That's the end of Ragnaros once again. Kill number 6 against the Firefly. So, yeah. Looking good. Another quick push, this time for the core. The Germans trying to end the game, trying to end the series. They lock another kill in. 25 kills to 7. Job well done and a clean 3-0 victory for Germany in round 1 of the round robin against Ukraine. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.